thank you for your patience again, and I suggest that we formally start the meeting with the Honorable Commissioner Sarah Agbor, Commissioner for the Human Resources, Science and Technology from the African Union Commission. Commissioner, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to recognize the presence of all ministers of higher education, scientific research here present. I want to recognize the presence of all our colleagues, commissioners from the EU, and it is a pleasure and honor for me to welcome you all on behalf of the African Union Commission to this historic first ministerial session of the African Union, European Union high-level policy dialogue on science, technology, and innovation. Let me also express my deep appreciation to Her Excellency, Ms. Mariya Gabriel, the EU Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education, and Youth, for our collective efforts to provide response to COVID-19 through research and innovation. Science is a human right, and each person has a right to enjoy the fruits of science. There is a need to advance science, technology, and innovation for the betterment of humanity by addressing pressing societal challenges such as food and nutrition security, escalating population growth, huge energy deficit, poverty and inequalities, diseases, and adverse effects of climate change, weak research, and associated digital infrastructures, and low investment in science and technology, to mention a few. There is no doubt that mobilizing domestic excellence and financial resources, as well as leveraging external support and collaboration, are vital for unlocking the potential of innovation, science, and technology for the Africa we want and for sustainable development in the world at large. The outbreak of COVID-19, globally and specifically for us in Africa, has caused serious disruptions in the education sector, health, food security, water, and economy. Given our level of preparedness, response capacity, and the already disease-burdened health systems, the absence of cure nor vaccine further heightens the need to rapidly find appropriate solutions for diagnosis, therapies, and development of the much-needed vaccines. Our innovators are challenged to scale up the production of personal protective equipment and medical supplies. We need to go further and unlock the potential of local medicinal plants and traditional knowledge in order to provide a mix of responses to deal with such pandemics. We have to forge a stronger partnership on science, technology, and innovation that builds on the already existing complex ecosystems of our bilateral and multilateral relationships across our continents. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our AU-EU high-level policy dialogue has evolved over time since the adoption of the joint AU-EU cooperation strategy in Lisbon 2007. It is an important platform that enhances our dialogue, promotes better common understanding, and defining and agreeing on shared priorities of mutual benefit. We are happy that a lot has been achieved through the HLPD, including the launch of a number of initiatives, in particular the roadmaps for research and innovation, partnerships on 1, food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture, and 2, climate change and sustainable energy, and 3, setting up an African-European innovation partnership. As we discuss about sustainable energy, I want to emphasize that Africa must go green. A clear roadmap for enabling a green hydrogen-based economy in Africa is in line with CESA 2024. Thus, the initiative on the Atlas of Green Hydrogen Generation can be of great relevance for policymakers, investors, researchers, and indeed all stakeholders in both Africa and Europe, and I urge that we support this initiative within our partnership. Our meeting today will further look into collective actions as proposed by our senior officials who met on 18 June 2020 and agreed to refocus the partnership to deliver on COVID-19 by addressing the human health impacts and social effects of COVID-19, and economic recovery through a set of interventions on public health, green transition, innovation and technology, and capacities for science, which include open science, science advice for policy, gender, and human capital development. Distinguished ministers, ladies and gentlemen, during their first ever virtual session that took place on the 30th of April 2020, the African Ministers of Science and Technology, among whom we have some present here, agreed to the following science and technology response to COVID-19 pandemic. 1. Rapid initiation of research and development and innovation activities on COVID-19 diagnosis, testing, treatment, vaccines, development, local productions of PPEs and medical supplies, as well as online training on how to improve access to water, to save water for vulnerable communities through solar disinfection of water. 2. Supporting the African Scientific Research and Innovation Council, ASRIC, to mobilize the scientific community to carry out strategic studies such as socio-economic impact of COVID-19, including impact on Africa's food and nutritional security, Africa's indigenous knowledge on preventing and controlling emerging infectious diseases based on an Afrocentric response. Forging partnership with global health research institutions and using existing platforms such as the European and Developing Countries Clinical Trials Partnership, the EDCTP, to address issues of research and innovation on therapeutics, vaccines, and diagnosis. It would be good if we can create an African-European science and innovation partnership, raising the importance of traditional medicines and drafting of a comprehensive African framework on traditional medicines. Currently, the African Scientific Research and Innovation Council is mobilizing the scientific community to carry out studies on impact of COVID-19 on Africa's indigenous knowledge to preventing and controlling emerging infectious diseases on the continent like COVID-19, utilizing an Afrocentric response. Finally, the Commission is working closely with the African Development Bank and the African Union Development Agency, AUDA NEPAD, to expedite actions to operationalize the African Education, Science, Technology and Innovation Fund. A task force has been established to work out the modalities of the fund. As we agree that the new norm during and probably after COVID-19 is online, we must therefore go digital in all our initiatives, including education and technology and research as outlined in the Digital Transformation Strategy for Africa 2020-2030. The African Union Commission implemented its flagship project, the Pan-African Network for Tele-Education and Telemedicine, where over 22,000 Africans have been trained in different areas needed. We should also endeavor to interconnect all our research institutions to further strengthen their networking capabilities and make open science more achievable for Africa and Europe. To our distinguished European partners, although our partnership is one of the few that have made significant progress and moved far ahead of others, we should implement concrete actions on the ground and boost investment and funding for research and innovation. Given the severity of COVID-19, we should mobilize existing financing instruments, build on ongoing efforts, and promote synergy and ownership of all stakeholders, in particular the member states, regional players, and the African sector. Our togetherness will become our strength, because in unity we can actually achieve a lot together. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by wishing you all fruitful deliberations. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Agbor, for your very engaging words, and also thanks very much for the great cooperation that we have with the African Commission. I would like to kindly apologize for Commissioner Gabriel. There is a small technical problem that is being solved.